This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Wristwatches come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. From tiny field watches to gigantic monstrosities, there really is something out there for everyone. Well, apart from those who don't wear a watch.
What? Oh, what a loser! Good, more for me and you.
One of my favourite parts of this community is that we're all trying to help each other with different suggestions. I see plenty of people recommending Seiko 5 watches, such as those featured in my last video. While they're definitely great watches, they're not always appropriate. Or at least, the recommendations aren't. I think it's rare that someone after a slim quartz fashion piece would want something like a traditional and fairly chunky mechanical Seiko. They simply don't fill the same niche. What if we looked outside the Seiko 5 range though? That's what I did a couple of weeks back when I stumbled upon this, the SNE479. Great product naming Seiko, sure we'll remember that one. But to me, this Seiko looks nothing like any Seiko that I've come across before. In fact, I'm wondering if this could almost be the ultimate replacement to some of the stereotypical fashion watches out there. As you can see, we have the sleek looks, but does the rest of it stack up? Thanks to Amazon for covering the cost of the watch so that we can review it in this video. Let's peel it back layer by layer. The first thing you notice is the slim profile. At just 8.7mm in thickness, it sits flush to the wrist, and though the 40.5mm diameter is wider than many traditional Seikos, it's kept in check by the rather short 45.8mm lug-to-lug, and that incorporates the protruding central links. The large dial is accentuated by the very thin case surround, which is almost indiscernible from above. This combination of a large dial squished into a slightly smaller, skinnier package results in a round watch that is well accommodated to most wrist sizes. The only caveat is that the unique lug design does restrict the flexibility of the bracelet to an extent where the very largest wrists may struggle to find a comfortable fit. Unfortunately, standard straps won't fit here either, so you're essentially stuck with a stock option. Thankfully, the quality is good. This houses solid links throughout with a pleasing alternating brushed and polished surface and a push button clasp for pain-free removal. It looks great, fitting the almost retro look of the watch, but there is one downside. There are no micro adjustment holes on the clasp, meaning those with specific wrist sizes like mine will struggle to find a comfortable setting. In its current state, the clasp visually integrates nicely, but it's either too loose or tight for my wrist when another link is removed, which sucks. It might be worth purchasing an alternative 20mm clasp that offers this basic function. While that is disappointing, it's still leagues better than most Seiko 5 bracelets which belong in the garbage. It's got some reasonable weight to it, doesn't pinch tons of hairs, and it feels like it won't fall apart or scratch too easily. Over the last year, we've been reviewing watches like these over on our blog, which I created using Squarespace. Initially, we chose Squarespace because of a few key features. Firstly, it's got the powerful blogging tools that we were looking for to share our findings with you. It easily allows us to categorize and schedule posts so that they coincide with these videos, meaning that you can choose to read or watch depending on your situation. We can even embed our videos directly into the platform for easy access. The intuitive software also allows us to keep tabs on our visits and page views over time, along with providing us with insights about our top traffic sources, to ensure that we keep creating content that you want to engage with. Importantly for us, it's very easy to make the site look amazing. This ensures that our ever-improving product shots are complemented by the rest of the page. I feel like I've got to do some of these watches justice. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/benswatchclub to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The stainless steel case primarily features a polished finish, including the rather impractical crown, which features no grip whatsoever. Luckily, you'll barely be touching it due to the movement choice, which I'll touch on in a second. Flipping the watch over reveals the brushed steel solid rear, which secures the limited 30-meter water resistance rating. You don't want to be getting this watch wet if you can help it. Arguably the most distinctive feature of this piece is the dark grey bezel, which protects the circumference of the flat hardlex crystal. I'm yet to see one quite like this, which contrasts so strikingly with the case beneath. And that dark colorway continues through to the dial, which exudes a similar grey-black hue. This time featuring a strong sunburst effect that makes the watch look all the more classy. It's paired with a similarly reflective raised inner section around the circumference and a black tape window that also blends in very nicely. Unlike many other Seikos, the design features very little clutter, with the only notable features being the tiny dull hour markers and the two areas of text. One is the silver applied Seiko logo, whilst the other reveals this watch's party trick. Indeed, this piece is powered by a solar quartz movement. A portion of the dial, possibly that raised section, features photovoltaic cells, which convert light into electrical energy for storage in a rechargeable cell contained within the watch. This stored energy can then be used to power the movement when light is no longer available. This SNE479 is rated as having a 10-month power reserve when fully charged, which is incredible when compared to the likes of a mechanical watch. This all but removes the need to ever have to change the battery, which is not only great for the environment, but your wallet too. It works not only with sunlight, but will also charge using indoor lights to a lesser extent. This style of movement gives the second hand 1 tick per second, similar to what you might find in a traditional quartz watch, so you don't get any sweeping motion, and it's also a tiny bit on the louder side. By no means is it on Timex Weekender levels.
You feel that?
But you probably wouldn't want this on your bedside at night. Visually though, I think this dial looks refined enough to make it viable as a dressy and casual piece. The watch is only available in this dark colorway, which does inhibit legibility rather significantly. Fortunately, those lighter hands do provide some pretty stark contrast, so you can just about read the time, but they also have no luminescence, so it still won't be winning any low light awards. I have to say though, when you look at the hands, you can tell how well aligned the movement within is, with the second hand hitting the indices precisely and with very low recoil as it completes its 360-degree journey. It's my first time with one of these V157 movements, and my impressions are very positive. Slim watches seem to be very popular among what I would consider to be non-watch folk, mainly due to their visual benefits, but also to an extent their practical ones because they don't get stuck under sleeves. And lots of fashion brands are pushing out pieces of junk in thin packages to cater to those desires. When I was newer to watches, I wasn't particularly into the traditional brands like Seiko because I thought that a lot of their most popular watches were just a bit too thick for my thin wrist. It's nice to see them trying something new that is noticeably different. Perhaps they can capture some of that audience with this model. Do I think the beauty is only skin deep though? Is this almost like Seiko's fashion watch? Well, for a retail price of just over £100 at the time of recording, I think you still get a solid amount for the money. The construction feels good, and the watch looks very sleek and minimalist. Sure, you don't get the automatic movement found in the likes of a Seiko 5, but you have the benefits of a solar system, and a much more durable bracelet that doesn't feel like it's made out of a tin can. Spec-wise, it's nothing out of this world, but for a Seiko that really won't look anything like any of your other Seikos, I think you might find some enjoyment here, and it's for a price that's similar to many much poorer constructed fashion brands too. It's linked below. Consider subscribing for more watch videos. I'll see you next time.